It's funny. I've been kind of thinking a lot lately about how a simple joke, right, can actually be like a form of exclusion.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's exactly what we're looking at today. This whole intersection of disability, politics, and humor online.
It is fascinating.
Yeah.
It really is, you know.
Yeah.
We often think about discrimination as like something aggressive and overt.
Right.
But this deep dive is going to show us just how subtle it can be.
Okay.
And how something as simple as laughter
Really?
can be used to marginalize and devalue people with disabilities.
So let's unpack this a little.
Yes.
Our source material is this academic paper analyzing YouTube comments.
Right.
And these comments are all on these news stories about Brazil's current president, Lula, and his disability. I'll admit, when I first heard this, I was like, wait, a missing finger?
Right.
That's considered a disability.
Yeah, that's a very common reaction.
Okay.
And it really shows how we misunderstand what disability actually is. So the paper goes into some of the ways we define disability.
Okay.
Like the medical model, which sees disability as a problem to be fixed.
Yeah.
Then you've got the social model, which emphasizes the barriers society creates for people with disabilities.
Interesting.
And then there are even more nuanced approaches like the relational model,
Okay.
which looks at this interplay between the individual and their environment.
So we're not so much in this deep dive, we're not getting bogged down in definitions. We're not focusing on any one specific model.
Exactly.
We're looking at the bigger picture of how disability is used as a tool for mockery, right?
Exactly.
And it's especially interesting because we're talking about a political figure here.
Right.
Brazil's president. During the 2022 election, Lula's opponent used the term nine fingers thief to refer to him.
Yes.
And the researchers were looking specifically at the YouTube comments on news pieces covering this event.
Yes.
And this is where things get really interesting. Because these YouTube comments, they were overflowing with laughter expressions, emojis, all that.
It's like this digital laugh track.
Yeah.
But it's aimed at someone's disability.
Right. I mean, we all know that laughter can be cruel.
Right.
But what makes disability such a target for mockery?
That is a fantastic question.
Yeah.
And it's something humor scholars have been thinking about forever. You know, people like Bergson and Douglas.
Okay.
They argue that laughter always has a social meaning.
Okay.
It's never just about the joke itself.
Gotcha.
It always depends on the context.
Okay.
This shared understanding between the joker and the audience.
So in this case, it works. The nine fingers insult works because everybody knows, it's fairly well known in Brazil, about Lula's missing finger.
Exactly.
So it taps into that existing knowledge. It becomes instantly understandable.
Yes.
And unfortunately effective.
And very effective as mockery. Yes. And this brings up a crucial point for our listeners.
Okay.
Even if a person's name isn't mentioned, mockery based on a known disability can be really potent. It reduces the individual to that one characteristic.
It's almost as if the disability becomes like a stand-in for everything the commenter dislikes about that person.
Yeah.
They can use the guise of humor, but still get that point across.
Exactly. And this ties into the work of Leonard Davis.
Okay.
He's a disability studies scholar.
Okay.
And he argues that mocking disability reinforces what we consider a normal body, while pushing the disabled body into this category of other, something to be laughed at, ridiculed, distanced from.
It's like drawing a line in the sand.
Yes.
You're either one of us or one of them.
Yeah.
And if you're on the wrong side of that line, you become fair game.
Exactly.
It feels almost instinctive, but is it more calculated than that?
That's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
And it makes me think of Trendade's research, which focuses on the power dynamics that are inherent in mockery. She argues that there are these three players.
Okay.
The joker,
right,
the audience who's in on the joke,
and
the target who's powerless to stop the laughter.
That makes a lot of sense, especially in a political context.
Right.
You know, like what we're analyzing here.
Right.
Laughter can be such a powerful way to assert dominance.
It really is.
It's like saying, you know, we're in control and you're not.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And to illustrate that point further,
okay,
the researchers point out that some comments didn't even mention Lula by name.
Really?
It was just 9 fingers.
Wow.
9 fingers. That his disability becomes his whole identity.
Yeah.
Overshadowing anything else about him.
That's disturbing.
It is disturbing.
Yeah.
And you know what's even more disturbing?
What's that?
Is that many commenters defended this, saying it was just a joke.
Oh, come on.
But that allows people to avoid confronting their own prejudices.
Right.
It minimizes the harm that these jokes can inflict.
It's like death by 1,000 cuts, right?
Exactly.
Each comment might seem small, but
Yeah.
together they create a hostile environment.
It's not about isolated incidents. It's about the culture we create.
Right.
And the internet, with its speed and reach, can amplify these harmful attitudes so quickly.
So even though this specific example focuses on a political figure in Brazil,
Right.
the implications are much broader, right?
Absolutely. This is about how we treat disability online, in our everyday interactions, in the subtle ways we decide who's normal and who's other, in the ways that words, especially when they're amplified online, have real consequences.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
But important stuff to talk about.
For sure.
Definitely. And that's why, that's why it's so important to be having these conversations.
Right.
To be shedding light on these subtle ways prejudice and discrimination show up online.
Yeah, because what seems like harmless banter to one person can be super hurtful to another.
Exactly.
And this case, while extreme, it highlights this broader issue of how the internet can be a breeding ground for this type of targeted mockery.
It's like the internet has become this echo chamber where these harmful attitudes are just reinforced and validated on a massive scale. And a lot of times those doing the mocking, they can hide behind anonymity, which only emboldens them.
It's like the digital equivalent of yelling from a moving car.
Right.
You can inflict harm without facing consequences.
Exactly.
But in this case, it wasn't just some random person. This nine fingers thief comment came from Lula's political opponent.
Right. A public figure.
Yeah.
That's an important distinction.
It is. It adds another layer to this.
It does, because when someone in a position of power does that, it normalizes it for others.
Right.
It creates this ripple effect that goes way beyond the original target.
It's like giving permission to others to say,
exactly.
Well, if they can say it, so can I.
Right. And it creates this chilling effect on open dialogue.
Right.
It creates this climate of fear for those who are marginalized.
It also raises the question of intent, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
Was the intention to just purely mock Lula's disability?
Or was it a move to tap into those prejudices for political gain?
Right. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say for sure.
But the impact is undeniable.
The impact is undeniable. Regardless of intent, that's what matters.
Right. And the impact, it goes beyond politics.
It does. It seeps into our everyday lives.
It does, because if we accept this kind of mockery in one context, then it becomes easier to tolerate in others.
Exactly.
And then before you know it, we've become desensitized to this casual cruelty that permeates so much of the internet.
Absolutely.
We were talking about theories of humor earlier, and you mentioned how some argue that laughter is often used to reinforce social norms. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, the idea is that humor often serves to highlight what's considered normal behavior and acceptable behavior. And anything that deviates from that becomes a target for ridicule. And this can be especially powerful when it comes to disability because it challenges these assumptions we have about what a normal body should look like and how it should function.
So by laughing at someone because of their disability, you're saying you don't fit in, you're different. And that difference is something to be ridiculed.
Precisely. And it creates this dangerous divide between us and them. Reinforcing this idea that people with disabilities are somehow less than or outside of what's considered normal.
It's like using humor to police the boundaries of what's acceptable.
Exactly.
And anyone outside those boundaries is fair game.
Right.
But, isn't all humor to some extent about finding the humor in the unexpected?
Sure.
In things that deviate from the norm?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's what makes this topic so complex.
Yeah.
There's a fine line between humor that challenges norms in a thought-provoking way and humor that just reinforces these existing prejudices.
So how do we know? How do we know where that line is?
That's where critical thinking comes in.
Okay.
We need to ask ourselves, who's the target of the joke? What assumptions is it based on?
Yeah.
Who benefits? And who's being marginalized or excluded?
Those are really important questions.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about how often we're complicit in this, in this casual ableism without realizing it. Like, maybe we laugh at a meme or share a video without considering what it's really saying.
It's so easy to get caught up in the moment and just react without thinking critically about the harm we might be causing.
Especially online where everything moves so fast.
Especially online, our critical thinking muscles haven't caught up to the speed of the internet.
That's a good point, yeah.
Right. So that's why it's so important to slow down, to be more mindful of the content we consume.
Right.
And to be willing to challenge those harmful narratives when we see them.
And to remember our words have power.
They do.
Whether we intend them to or not.
Absolutely.
So even a like or a retweet
can contribute to the spread of those stereotypes.
Can have an impact, yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, thinking about this paper,
yeah,
it focuses on online comments,
right,
which raises these questions about privacy and consent.
That's a great point. And the researchers in this paper, they were very careful to anonymize the data they collected.
Okay.
And to focus on these broad trends and patterns,
right,
rather than singling out individual users.
But even with those precautions, it makes you think about the ethics of using publicly available data this way.
Right.
Do people who post on YouTube expect their words to be analyzed by researchers?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And it highlights these complexities of navigating the ethics of online research.
It really does.
You know, you could argue that anything that's posted publicly is fair game for analysis.
Right.
But, you know, we have to consider the potential impact on individuals.
Right.
And make sure that research is done in a way that respects their privacy and dignity.
It's a delicate balance.
It is. It really is.
It is, and it underscores this need for ongoing dialogue and reflection on how we do research in this digital age.
Absolutely. We need to constantly ask ourselves, are we using these tools responsibly? Are we protecting the rights and interests of those we study? And are we contributing to a more just and equitable world through our research?
Because knowledge is power, but it's also a responsibility.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
You know, it's kind of wild how we started with this one very specific example.
Yeah.
This politician in Brazil being mocked for having a missing finger.
Right.
But it just like brings up this much bigger conversation about disability and how we think about it, especially online.
It's like that saying, the personal is political. You know, what seems like an isolated thing actually reveals these like deeply ingrained societal attitudes and power dynamics.
And in this case, the power dynamics are so interesting. We were talking about how mockery involves a joker, an audience, and a target.
Yeah.
But online, that audience can be huge.
Oh, massive.
And the target often feels powerless to like even respond.
Exactly. And the internet provides this anonymity, right?
Right.
That really emboldens people to say things they might never say face-to-face.
That's true.
It's like there's this disconnect between our online selves and our real-world selves.
Right, right.
And it leads to a real lack of accountability.
Yeah, and that's when the harmful stuff spreads. But what I thought was so interesting in this research is how in some of these comments, Lula's disability was used to basically erase everything else about him.
Yes.
Like he's no longer a politician.
Or a former president.
He's just 9 fingers.
He's just 9 fingers.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And that speaks to the dehumanizing aspect of this kind of mockery.
It does.
You reduce someone to just that one thing.
Right.
And it becomes easier to just be cruel.
It's like they're not even a person anymore.
Right. They're not a fully realized individual who deserves empathy.
And that happens everywhere, not just online.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. This reducing people with disabilities
everywhere
to one characteristic.
It's in the media. It's in pop culture.
It's everywhere, yeah.
The way we talk about disability.
So are you saying, like, even when we try to be positive,
sometimes
we're actually perpetuating these stereotypes?
It's about recognizing those subtle ways that our language, our actions reinforce ableism.
Without even meaning to.
Even when we don't intend to, yeah.
So, like, how do we change that?
Well, it starts with awareness.
Okay.
Being more conscious of the language we use.
The assumptions we make.
Right.
And the narratives that we're putting out there.
And challenging them.
And being willing to challenge them, absolutely.
When we see them, whether it's online.
Everywhere.
A conversation, wherever.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not just about, like, avoiding being offensive. It's about actively being inclusive.
You got it.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that people with disabilities are not this one big group. You know?
They're not a monolith.
Exactly. Yeah. They have so many different experiences, perspectives, identities.
They deserve to be seen for all of that.
Yes.
Not just this one thing.
Not just the stereotype.
Right. So to wrap up, what's one key takeaway for our listeners today?
I think the big one is to remember that humor is powerful. It can be a tool for social change, but it depends on how we use it.
Okay.
We need to be more thoughtful, more conscious about the jokes we're telling, the memes we're sharing, the content we're putting out there.
Yeah.
Are we punching up, challenging the power structures, promoting inclusion, or are we punching down, reinforcing these inequalities, marginalizing those who are already vulnerable?
That's such a good point.
It's not about taking the humor out of things.
Right.
It's about using humor ethically.
And being aware that our words have power.
They do.
And we have a responsibility to use them wisely.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
We'll see you next time.